Hello everybody and welcome to a brand new video. We're back with another top of the week segment. This is episode number 10. In this series, I'm just trying to focus on getting you guys up to date with what happened in the RuneScape community in the last week. We're not going to be focusing on drama, Twitch highlights, or anything like that, just on information and relevant things to the RuneScape community. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoy and let's get started. So to begin with here, we had one new content update this week, and that is the Halloween 2018 event, as well as a few changes to Tutorial Island. The new Halloween event this year is called the Chambers of Eric, which is just a short quest line, which in the end will unlock a unique Halloween outfit. So besides the Halloween event, the main content changes we got this week are changes to Tutorial Island. Now Tutorial Island has stayed more or less the same for years now, but they are making some very minor changes to make it more streamlined for mobile players, which will be coming in under a week now. It's crazy. So to begin with here, the very first tutorial tutor has had their section rearranged a bit. Before you used to chop a log, light a fire, and then catch a fish. Now it's been reversed pretty much. You now catch the fish, cut a log, light the fire, and cook the fish. And on top of that, you don't have a 100% chance of burning the fish the first time anymore. You now will not be required to check your music list or your emotes. They decided that this was not required information for a tutorial, which I kind of agree with. You can just discover that on your own time later. The section teaching the player how to run now highlights the minimap orb and is optional. Prospecting has been removed from the tutorial, but it will remain in game. I mean, who actually prospects anything? Maybe new players, but it's not a vital mechanic to the game in any way. And the Tutorial Island furnace has been changed to make it more in line with furnaces on the mainland. So this will make it easier for new players. However, one big impact these changes have are on the Tutorial Island speedrun, which is actually a small community I highlighted a few videos ago. And this will completely change the Tutorial Island speedrun. I'm assuming there will be quicker times because overall it should be faster, there's less dialogue, and there's just less things you have to do, so that'll be kind of interesting. So we have one last reminder about old school RuneScape Mobile. If you really don't know yet, it is getting released on October 30th, which is Tuesday. I have the day off. I'm going to try to do something fun for the release. I'm not quite sure yet. And like every week, we have a few minor changes, bug fixes, quality of life changes, but nothing too major this week. And that is it for content updates this week. So we just have a few community updates this week. To begin with here, congratulations to XZN, who has to be one of the few hardcore Ironmen who actually have a reward from the Theater of Blood. He ended up getting a Vernic Defender hilt, which is not the most useful one, but still getting any drop from the Theater of Blood is very impressive because it is not a safe death, and you really have to trust your team to do it. So I know I've been talking about this a lot lately, but here are two different ways to get to the wiki to make your life easier, because the old wiki has been vandalized extremely badly now. So many of the pages are just nonsensical. They make no sense at all. The first one is going to be the best way overall because it's going to help the search rankings for the new Old School RuneScape wiki. The second one is just going to be beneficial to you because it's still going to be giving the original wiki the credit for the search. So the first one here is a setting you can set up in your Google Chrome. Uber Joe posted a nice quick GIF to show you how to do it, so you can make quick searches right in your URL bar. Now this is the ideal method. The second one is a Chrome extension. It is the OSRS Wii Redirector. It works very well and does redirect to the correct page every single time. So even if you click on the old fandom Wikia page in Google, it will redirect you to the new wiki. However, this will still give Wikia the search credit, so it's not ideal for boosting up the rankings of the new wiki. And that's pretty much it for community updates this week, not a whole lot. So now it is time once again for the Q&A recap. We had a weekly Q&A with the moderators of the Old School RuneScape team, and here are some of the more interesting questions and answers. To begin with here, do we have an update on the collection log? They said to pass the issues with the engine work, they're just putting the finishing touches on it, and it's aimed to be released this year. Currently, there's little incentive for having a high number of kudos. Could the upcoming pendant slot require kudos to build or something else in the future? They said they're not really looking to change what is already pulled, however they would be keen to change something in the future to give those kudos more of a use. Can mammoths be moved from the wilderness to Weiss as it would be more fitting? They would have to poll on the placement and whether to remove it from the wilderness, but 85% voted yes in a straw poll, so pretty popular. Could the extended Adamant Dragon task give you 30 to 60 rather than 10 to 30? It would be more in line with Rune Dragons. They said they could do it if people want to. Can the click boxes for the fairy rings be made bigger? The problem is that fairy rings are made out of 10 pieces, and we need to keep in mind the rendering orders and making it so that there aren't any things overlapping, which would look terrible. Why is the Zaya diary being added for any harder quests in the area? Will the diary be locked behind skill requirements? The mod said quests from the rest of the world will be featured in the Zaya diary as well. They just haven't said what or how. Could the prayer book item no longer require a holy symbol to cure poison, perhaps using more points? They said they could definitely do that, and they might remove the symbol requirement entirely. Can Ironman buy bonds from the Grand Exchange? Currently they have to use another account. Yes, they agree that would be a nice feature, however there is a way for them to get bonds already and it would require quite a bit of work. Can the unreleased 2007 quests be added back into the game? Land of the Goblins, the Path of Glorify, and Back to My Roots are some of the last quests that were made in the original 2007 game. So they are not too keen to add these quests into the game, and I pulled a response from Mod Wolf from another thread. The reason they are not really looking to add these quests into the game is quite a few of the quest rewards were originally intended for content that just is not in the game, like summoning. So they'd pretty much be useless quests with no rewards, and it would require a lot of dev time. They'd rather put work into creating new content unique to old RuneScape than just pulling old quests from 2007. Is there an update on the Portal Nexus? They said it's coming along well. There's a few design things to work out and menus that took some time. They are hoping it will come as a next major update after Halloween. Are we ever going to be getting the Sandstorm spell? They said they didn't want to do it at the same time as doing the bucket pack so that it would not impact sand gathering rates, but now that the bucket packs are done, players can now make up their mind on whether they want the Sandstorm spell. Mod Tom H was working on a sequel to Misthalin Mystery in his spare time before he left. Will this be picked up now that he's left? They're not quite sure yet. They'd have to look into the progress on the quest that he managed to make. Will the Hydra, Farmingale, and Diary be released all at once or in batches? They said all at once with the Kebos Lowlands. Is there an update on death mechanic changes? There's no update yet. They look to do some more poll blogs before they actually start programming the new death mechanics. Can we get a 1750 total US world? They said next week when mobile is released, they're going to do an evaluation and see which worlds will be necessary. The desert has loads of ways to enter without using the Shanty Pass. Can reward from the elite diary be moved to the medium or hard diary? They said that sounds fair. Can the Shiloh Village stepping stones be moved from the elite diary to the hard diary? It's redundant as after doing elites, you use the gloves for the teleport anyway. They said yes, they'd be open to that change. And that is it for the Q&A recap. And last up here, I'd like to go over a few Reddit suggestions from the last week and pick out some interesting ones for you guys. So to start off here, we have a suggestion by Yorabra, and that is the bone sack. Now I do realize in this week's Q&A there actually was a question about the bone sack, and they said they wouldn't want to add it, but that being said, I think it's still a good idea. It would be obtained from wilderness bosses at a rate of 1 in 512. You have to collect 3 sackcloth pieces to craft a bone sack using a loom. The bone sack usage would be similar to the herb sack. It is tradable and can be filled up to 10 bones of any type in total. Players can upgrade their bone sack to increase its capacity. Upgrading the sack makes it untradeable, however. The bone sack can be upgraded to 18, 30, and 48 slots, and you would need an extra sackcloth piece for each upgrade. This item would be a little hard to balance, especially since items like dragon bones are sought after quite a lot and would increase the GP per hour of green dragons and blue dragons and stuff like that. Green dragons wouldn't be such an issue because it's in the wilderness already, but blue dragons, you could camp there just forever without having to leave ever. Next up, we have a suggestion by Avnez, and that is a visual representation of what he would want the Dragon Hunter lance to look like. I think this looks very cool. I like how long it is and thin. I'm just not sure that would translate well into the old school RuneScape visuals, because if it's that thin, it might not be very visible or very impressive in game, but the design itself is so cool. I really like it. Next up here, we have a suggestion by Default Sound, and this is probably one of the most in-depth quest suggestions I have ever seen, and it comes with even a 3D render of what the boss would look like. And what he's suggesting is Piff the Morytania dragon boss plus quest. Now I'm going to be leaving a link in the description for all of these suggestions because this one is extremely long and well thought out. The entire quest is pretty much written out there, but the suggested rewards here are extremely high. 50,000 fire making experience, 50,000 prayer experience, 50,000 fletching experience, 25,000 thieving experience, and 25,000 warding experience if it passes. Anyway, definitely go give it a read and tell me what you think about it. Next up here we have a suggestion by Expa, and that is a simple smithing UI improvement. I honestly thought it was like this to begin with, but yes, we should definitely have that quantity in the corner here or somewhere. They did add the make all functionality to this interface, however, it doesn't have any of the modern UI to it, so it's still pretty dated. And last up here, something that was posted a long time ago but got reposted the other day is a simple warning to prevent people from getting scammed at the Grand Exchange. If you have been reported for scamming within the last couple hours or days, there would be an actual warning in the trade menu that would prevent people from trading with this person. However, you beg the question is, if this person has been identified as a scammer, why is he just not banned, temp banned, or just maybe disable the ability to trade altogether from that account? instead of just putting this window, but that's maybe another question for another day. And that is it for Reddit suggestions. Now, just before I end the video, I wanted to feature 2 pieces of art I found this week that were awesome. I mean, they were at the front page. I didn't have to dig deep for it. We have a post by Scientific, which is a rendition of you being the sacrifice at Sulrah. I really like the art style of this one. I would like to put this maybe as my mobile background. And last up here, you probably saw it, but on the front page, there is a 8K res rendition of a cave horror, and it looks really awesome, even down to like the hands looking gnarly with blood on them. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed the recap. If you did, don't forget to go check out my Patreon. There will be a link in the description for that. I like to post small flipping techniques for my patrons, or even small moneymakers I find throughout the month, as well as having discussions and polls. Thanks for watching guys, and I will see you next time.